I think the thing that occurred to me when I was diagnosed, I had been to MD Anderson to the cancer center there. Basically, they confirmed the diagnosis and said I probably had 3 to 6 months, and I had young children, and we, as a matter of fact, we had just adopted our last child, and he was not even he was not even out of diapers at that point. And so I came home and basically went to bed. I mean, I felt like, well, that's it. And obviously I was on chemotherapy and I didn't really feel very good. And all of a sudden one day I thought, you know, my little children are going to come home and find me and I might be dead. And then I thought, you know what, I might be dead, but I'm not going to be in bed. And I got up from that day forth, and the next day I went back to work. And I think actually having the YWCA allow me to work was probably the best thing that happened to me, because I got myself out of my own mind and my worries, and I kept thinking to myself, you know, Myrna, you could get hit by a truck and be dead before the cancer killed you. So just live every single day of your life as if it was the last, and that's pretty much the way I did it. I'm very, very fortunate with good doctors, good medical care, supportive family. I guess my conflicting roles were that I had to leave my children at home a lot, and that was always conflicting to me. I was fortunate enough to live in El Paso where I was able to have household help. I used to tell my friends in other parts of the country, you know, I have a wife, because I really did. I mean, I was very, very fortunate to have a woman that lived with us for many years. And so she made it a lot easier for me because she loved our children. And I used to tell myself that I really wanted to spend a lot of quality time. When I was with the children, it was quality time. It wasn't just time. So I made a real effort to do that. And my husband was extraordinarily helpful in all of those arenas. So there certainly were conflicts. I won't deny that. You always feel like you are guilty. I watch my own daughters and sons now and how much time they spend with their families and think they're so much better at it than I was. Mm-hmm. So I still have some guilt about it, frankly, because I worked long, hard hours. But I think I was also trying to avoid what was happening inside my body. And but I can't make any excuses for that. But that's pretty much how I handled it. I just went full bore ahead, as they say. Well, I actually thought when I left the Y that I was retiring. Mm-hmm. I just felt like it was time. We had just had a major capital campaign. All the buildings were in wonderful shape. We had a terrific senior staff and great staff, and the YWCA was debt-free. And we just signed a new $40 million contract for one of the government contracts that we had, a 4-year, nearly $40 million a year contract. And I thought, you know, the timing is right. And if I'm ever going to do this, it's time that I do it. So that's why I retired from the YW. It's not, there wasn't anything wrong or, you know, anything like that from my point of view. And so then I started a little company that I felt like I maybe had learned some things about the nonprofit community, that I could be a consultant and help other nonprofits. And during the next year or so, I was working with different groups, and the Paso Donnery group, not the foundation, but the business group came into being, and the gentlemen that were developing that basically said, Myrna, we're not going to do this unless you will come and run it for us. And so basically, after a lot of consternation, I decided to do that for a couple of years and ended up doing that for 3 years. And then that very day that I was leaving there, the board chair from the foundation came and asked me if I would be interim at the foundation. And I first of all told him no, I was retiring again and I wanted to travel and see my grandchildren and things like that. And after about a month of negotiation and discussions with them, I finally said, okay, I'll do it on an interim, and really thought it would be interim. But frankly, I've enjoyed it. After about 3 months, the chair of the board came and said, look, you're going to a national meeting, take interim off your name, stay as long as you want to stay. So here I am. Well, I think the the main projects, of course, I'm working for the foundation, and the foundation's goal is to, and mission really, is to try to build a healthier community and a healthier region. And the foundation reaches to Juarez all the way into 3 counties in New Mexico. And we don't fund health care per se, we don't do heart transplants and things like that, but what we really try to do is to build a healthier community. So we're focusing on good eating habits, healthy exercise, and we're funding groups that will try to get that done with children and youth so that whatever their behavior is as young people will lead them through the rest of their lives. And I'm excited about that. I see some real potential in this. We're hoping to bring, for example, with some of our leadership, bring some grocery stores to some of the lower income neighborhoods in order that they have fresh fruits and vegetables. And a lot of the little small markets aren't able to have fresh fruits and vegetables for the people that live in those low income neighborhoods. So that's one of the things that we're working on right now. It's very exciting to me. Unfortunately, if we hadn't had the problem with Juarez that we have now, I think El Paso probably in 20 years would have been the jewel city in the south, maybe in the country, because it was moving in that direction. And I hope that this situation in Juarez will be settled before too long. But I think El Paso is on the move forward, and there's going to be a lot of development. There's a lot of people looking at our community, as I'm sure Bob Cook and others will tell you. And so I feel like that it's time for El Paso. We've been here a long time. Used to drive back and forth to California, and El Paso was a much stronger community than Tucson or Phoenix or any of those, and they just moved forward, and we didn't. And so it's our turn, and I think we've got the right leadership in the political arena as well as in the business community. So I think, you know, what I see is they're working hand in hand together. And nothing but good can come out of that. Well, once a year our family gets together as a family, and usually that's over Thanksgiving, because now that we have older grandchildren now, and so it's difficult for them to get out of school. So, and at Christmas time they want to go skiing or do something else. So we always spend, or at least almost always spend, a week together for Thanksgiving. And sometimes we go on a cruise, sometimes we go to a resort somewhere where we can all be together, but we don't want to just, you know, go to someone's home, because then the kids are all out, you know, doing whatever they do. So we try to lock them up somewhere, like a cruise ship or something. But we're very, very proud of our grandchildren and love to be with them, and very proud of what our children have all accomplished. Very proud of them.